Waltzing Matilda is more than just a song, it's a symbol of Australia's identity. Alongside kangaroos, koalas, boomerangs and the Sydney Opera House, this folk ballad represents the spirit and culture of Australia. Known as the country's unofficial national anthem, it has been sung by generations, evoking the essence of the Australian outback and its people. But what makes this song so special? Why has it endured for 130 years? In this documentary, we'll explore the history of Waltzing Matilda, uncover their origins, and understand why it became one of Australia's most beloved cultural treasures. Before we dive into the origins of Waltzing Matilda, it's important to know Australia's geography and where in Australia did Waltzing Matilda took place. Australia is a continent and a country located in the southern hemisphere, surrounded by the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Australia is often referred as Down Under because of its location in the southern hemisphere, below most of world's major continents. The globe is divided by the equator line. The world is divided into two halves, which are the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. The term, Down Under, comes from the fact that Australia is situated south of the equator, meaning it is down on most world maps. Now let's have a look at the map of Australia and where Waltzing Matilda took place. Australia covers approximately 2.97 million square miles, making it the sixth largest continent. Australia is divided into 6 states and 2 territories. The 6 states are New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania. The 2 following territories are Northern Territory and Australian Capital Territory, the home to Canberra, the capital of Australia. Where and what city in Australia did Waltzing Matilda take place? Waltzing Matilda was written in Winton, Queensland. Winton is a small town in the Australian outback of Queensland, known for its vast open landscapes, red dirt, and connection to Australia's bush culture. Now we know where Waltzing Matilda originally took place, so let's start diving in the history of the origins. In April of 1895, Banjo Paterson wrote the lyrics while staying at Dagsworth Station, a sheep station near Winton. Banjo Paterson was an Australian poet, journalist and author known for capturing essence of the Australian bush. During a visit to a cattle station owned by McPherson family, he was inspired by local stories and wrote lyrics to Waltzing Matilda. He heard stories about real-life incident involving a swagman who allegedly set fire to a shearing shed and later took his own life by drowning himself in a billabong. This setting, with its vast landscapes and rugged beauty, helped shape the song's imagery and storytelling. Then later on, the song was first performed on April 6, 1895, at the North Gregory Hotel in Winton. So this was where and how Waltzing Matilda all began. Waltzing Matilda quickly spread across and became a cultural anthem. It was played by soldiers in wartime, sung at sporting events, and even considered as a possible national anthem. The song's themes of resilience and adventure perfectly captured the Australian spirit, making one of the most recognizable and cherished folk songs in the world. What was the meaning behind the lyrics of Waltzing Matilda? Let's start analyzing the words and what they mean in the lyrics. We go into the next chapter. Waltzing Matilda consists of 4 verses, 4 choruses, with a total of approximately 138 to 140 words. The lyrics of Waltzing Matilda tell the story of a swagman who travels the Australian outback, with themes of freedom, loss and defiance. Let's break down the key of elements. Waltzing Matilda refers to a swagman carrying his belongings wrapped in a blanket or cloth, often called a Matilda, as he travels. The term, waltzing, suggests a carefree or jaunty style of walking, embodying the spirit of the wanderer. Now let's begin analyzing the first verse of the song. Once there was a swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree. A billabong is a natural pond or waterhole. It is a central feature of the Australian outback. This imagery conjures a sense of isolation and freedom, but also harshness of life. In the bush, a coolabah tree is a type of eucalyptus tree. Now let's move on to the next sentence. He sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. The billy is a tin can used for boiling water over a fire. His singing while waiting shows contentment, reinforcing his carefree spirit despite hardship. Now on to the second verse. Down came a jumbuck to drink at the billabong. A jumbuck is a sheep, so the jumbuck is drawn to the billabong as a source of water. This is a moment serves as a quiet, peaceful scene in the otherwise chaotic song. The sheep's arrival at the billabong signals an opportunity of the swagman. Now let's move on to the next sentence to see what happens. Up jumped the swagman and grabbed him with glee. The swagman's quick, decisive action is revealed here. The word glee conveys a sense of enjoyment, almost a mischievous joy, as the swagman captures the jumbuck. The word glee was chosen to contrast the seriousness of theft, as it hints at the swagman's somewhat carefree or daring nature. He is proud of his success in securing food, and this moment highlights his resourcefulness and the harsh but playful side of his survival. He sang as he shoved the jumbuck in his tucker bag. A tucker bag is a food bag carried by swagman, used to store provision. By putting the jumbuck inside, he is claiming it as his meal, emphasizing his struggle to survive in a harsh environment. Now let's move on to the third verse and see what happens next. Up rode the squatter mounted on his thoroughbred. A squatter refers to a wealthy landowner who occupied large amounts of land, often without formal permission. A thoroughbred is a horse, as horses were highly prized by the upper class in Australia. Down came the troopers 1, 2, 3. The troopers are police officers, or law enforcement, who are sent to capture the swagman. The 1, 2, 3 part could suggest the sudden, inevitable arrival of the law, almost like a countdown before action is taken. Where's that jolly jumbuck you've got in your tucker bag? This line is spoken by the authorities, either the squatter or the troopers. It is a direct accusation, demanding that the swagman account for the stolen sheep. The word jolly is somewhat ironic here. It was first used in the swagman's cheerful song about taking the sheep, but now it is being thrown back at him in a serious confrontation. Now on to the fourth verse and see what happens next when they're about to arrest the swagman. Up jumped the swagman and sprang into the billabong. The up jumped the swagman part is a repetition that mirrors the earlier line when he seized the jumbuck. This parallel reinforces the idea that, just as he acted quickly to take the sheep, he now reacts instinctively to escape capture. The and sprang into the billabong part is a line marks the swagman's tragic end. Instead of facing arrest by the authorities, he chooses to jump into the waterhole. This is a moment of defiance, rather than surrender. He takes control of his fate in one final act of rebellion. "You'll never catch me alive," cried he. This defiant declaration shows the swagman to remain, even in death. He refuses to be taken by the law and would rather die than lose his independence. His words reflect the outlaw spirit that has made this song resonate with Australians, symbolizing resistance against authority and the harsh realities of life for the working class. And now, on to the final but not least sentence of this song. "And his ghost may be heard as you pass by the billabong." This adds a haunting, almost mythical element to the song. The swagman doesn't just disappear, his spirit lingers, forever tied to the billabong. This transforms the song from a simple folk ballad into a legend. The usage of a word, "you," invites the listener into the story. It suggests that anyone passing the billabong might still hear the swagman's voice, creating a sense of eerie immortality. Waltzing Matilda is more than just a song. It's a story, a legend and a symbol of Australia's unique identity. What began as a simple bush ballad has endured for 130 years, capturing the spirit of the wandering swagman, the beauty of the outback, and the resilience of the Australian people. Its lyrics tell a tale of hardship, rebellion, and freedom, values that have resonated with generations, from soldiers singing it during wartime to athletes and crowds chanting it at major events. Waltzing Matilda remains deeply woven into the nation's culture. Even today, the song continues to be celebrated, performed, and remembered. Whether heard in the streets, at sporting events, or in a quiet, Australian bush, the voice of the swagman lives on. His story, like the billabong where he made his final stand, will never fade from history. And so, as we celebrate 130 years of Waltzing Matilda, we remember not just a song, but a legacy, a song that, just like the swagman's ghost, will be calling.
You'll come the Waltzing Matilda with me.